So first up we got a 2011 500. First thing we knew about was the crack in the bottom of the bumper there. That's easy fixed.
Well, it's terminal.
It's terminal. We're going to put it down.
Find me a new Lamborghini and I'll tell you.
What Pete just told me makes a lot of sense. I hadn't thought of it. He says if you knock it out of gear, when you've got it up to speed, it doesn't make the noise, so it can't be the diff bearings because they're still spinning when the car's moving forward. It's only when you engage the actual gearbox you're getting the noise. So I've just ordered a gearbox in preparation for it. I've got a great deal from Club 500. They've done me a gearbox for $220 if I return the old one, including the VAT and including the delivery, off a car with 17,000 miles on it. So we all need to stick a new clutch in at the same time. It's pointless doing this without sticking a new clutch in at the same time, so there will be an additional cost there. But that means it'll go out the door with 100,000 miles on, with a 17,000 mile gearbox on it, and a new clutch. So doing the gearbox on the Fiat 500, very familiar sight. A weeping sump. So we're going to have to do that at the same time. So I delegated the sump to Pete, who's finishing off the gearbox. While it's up in the air, I thought I'd crack on with the bumper. Obviously I don't normally spray them in the air like this, but it's the bottom bit of the bumper that needs doing, so it was up in the air. Figured I might as well get it done. And obviously being sort of slightly underside of the bumper, it doesn't have to be quite as good a quality as the other stuff, so I'll get it all done in one go. Fix the cracks on it, and got the primer on, so just about ready for colour. On the rear bumper it's got the fade out thinner either side, so I'll leave it a couple of days and then give that a buff, because it's 1k that, not 2k, because I had the 1k already in. So yeah, we'll do that. Pete's putting the final bits together on the front again, and it should be ready for an MOT. We're not going to really make any money out of this car now. With the sump, it only need to have a couple £100 at the MOT station, and to be honest, we'll be making £200 or £300 out of it. It's only got, if I could get 2,995 for it, it's got maybe £600-700 in it, but I really think it's a 2,795 2011 with 90,000 miles on. Because again, how do I communicate in the title of an advert that it's had gearbox and clutch done, and a service? The systems like Auto Trader simply just say fair price, good price, and compare them to each other. You know, people have to click into the advert to see I've done that work, and they won't click into the advert if the car doesn't look cheap enough. We've done versus one that didn't have this done is about probably nearly £1,000 worth of work. You know, clutch replaced, gearbox replaced, sump replaced, oil and filter service, gearbox service, repair to the rear bumper there. You know, you're easily talking £1,000 of work on one versus one that hasn't had that done and might well need it within the next couple of years. So new 17,000 mile gearbox in it, with the new clutch, new throwout bearing, gearbox fluid of course, engine oil, sorry, seatbelt alarms on, and it's going through all the gears nicely. So just tartar up now. Mazda hood rattle completely sorted. As many of you said, the latch there, you just need to pop the cover off it. 2 screws, they were both loose, tighten them up, rattle gone completely. Got a subscriber come to look at this on Tuesday, so it may well already be at the door, we'll see. Alfa's in for its MOT today. The headlights were quite cloudy and marked up, so I've done my old trick. 800 grit, 1200 grit, 1500 grit, and then a coarse compound from Halfords, and then a 3000 Farcella compound on a mop, and you see they come out looking like new, guys. It's important because otherwise the headlight beam can be affected by the crackling over the headlight, so I try and do it before it goes in for an MOT, and I won't get an advisory for that. So, and it obviously lifts the whole front of the car up big time. So Dacia are all set for a view-in today. Again, fingers crossed, guys. I've got to put a shout out for the Moonshine Quick Detailer again, because this has been sitting outside for a couple of weeks. It was just covered in dust from sitting. It's taken me 10 minutes going over with this stuff. It's lifted all of it off. Got a great shine on it. So you know the score with me. I only recommend what I think is really, really good, and this stuff is brilliant. It leaves no residue, no streaking, just gives you a great shine. It's so quick to use, so yeah, highly recommended. Obviously even more so with 25% discount if you put Chops Garage in the shopping cart. I've had other people ask me to do products and recommend them. Some of them even asked me to agree in writing I'm going to give them a positive review for the products even before I've seen it. That's not something I'm prepared to do. for any amount of freebies or products. This stuff is genuinely really, really good, especially if you've got a car lot and you've got people coming to see the cars and you've got time to give them a full clean. Hey guys, the result on the Alfa, that is our fail. A tyre and windscreen wiper. So, very happy with that. Very happy. So now, potentially we've got that turbo thing sorted. I think it needs a slight adjustment. It's still reading 1.6 mil out on the arm of the actuator, which is probably why I've got quite a bit of lag at the moment. So we just need to tweak that. But MOT wise, it's ideal. Spray the bonnet and we're good to go. The Dacia is sold, guys. Big news. The Dacia is sold to a subscriber. So thanks for that. I won't mention his name in case he doesn't want to have it mentioned, but he came along, saw it in the background, one of the vids, came along, had it. 4995. He's got an absolute steaming bargain on it. I'm going to service it for him as well. Right, I've got a little crash damage i10 in to get started on. So quick look underneath, and you can see that there's actually no damage to the subframe at all. It has just bent the arm. So if we can whip that arm out, I've got a new wheel for it as well. Those that said category S means it needs to damage the inner wheel arch, possibly there. That's a little bit bent there. So that could be classed as category S, but that's as minor as it needs to be. If it's an inner skin, it's category S, and that's as minor as it is, guys. I know a lot of people get scared by category S structural damage, but that is classed as structural damage. A tiny little bit lip there. So nothing major to the car at all. A little bit on the end of the sill there, a little bit bent, that'll bend back okay. Let's get this arm off. So I've stopped on the i10 because the gentleman's come by for the C1, and that's sold too. So the Dacia's gone today, the C1's gone, and if our subscriber comes tomorrow, quite possibly the Mazda will go as well, which means I'll only be left with the i10 and with the Alfa. So super low on stock again. This is just my problem, is having enough stock. I mean, like I say, I can buy all the stuff everybody else is buying, it doesn't need any work, but then I really can't make a margin on it. This sold for I had it up for 2795, I dropped it to 2695. He came along thinking it was 2795 because he hadn't seen the latest advert, so he was pleased for me to tell him it was 2695. Again, my conscience wouldn't be clear if he went home and saw it advertised 2695 somewhere else, even though he came expecting it at 2795. So that's sold. Not mega profits. I'll go through that with you a bit later on. From my previous videos, you kind of know what I make margin per car. I'm certainly making more than I am off the Dacia. But another little C1 iGo car going out the door. That platform is a great platform for me. In order of flips, it goes the i10s, then it goes these. They are just cracking little sellers, and then easy to work on. So yeah, stock. So let's get on. So tomorrow morning we get the tyre on the Alfa. It's all about spinning plates, mate. Guys, we've got to get the tyre on the Alfa, get the windscreen wipers done, so it's got its fresh ticket on it. Then we've got to get that bonnet sorted, give the whole thing a valet, so that's all ready to go. i10, we've got to swap out that lower arm, swap out the wing, do the little bit of paint on it, get that in for an MOT. But tonight I need to be online and I need to be finding more stock. Whew. Anyway, been a busy day. Okay, so the 500 went in for MOT today. We've had a little boo-boo. No one's fault. All three of us were putting it on at the same time. And I think we probably just missed one little spot of silicone, the gasket sealer for the sump, getting it in, because they are a bit of a bugger to get in. And we got a little weep from the corner here, so it did fail. Believe it or not, if we put it in with the old sump on it, it may well have passed. But the new sump on it, little leak. All it is the silicone around here, and I think it's just kind of had a little spot missed, so we're gonna have to drop that off and re-silicone that up. Other than that, the only thing was advisory was the tyres. Now, I don't quite know why. I mean, these have got a lot more on them. It was put on advisory, not that they actually needed to be done, but they don't look that low to me. They really don't. I'd have to argue the toss slightly with that one. He said the inside edge with them was a bit worn. I mean, we got a slight amount of tread there, but the inside of the tyre still got loads of tread on it. So I can't really say it warrants me putting on those tyres. I think we'll have to leave that as a negotiation point with the car. I think they've got a good few thousand miles left in them yet. I mean, look at that. So, and you guys know, if my conscience had me worried about these tyres at all, they'd be done regardless. But they've just got, I mean, look at that. You've got a good few mil before the wear indicator there. I don't think they need doing. So yeah, unfortunately it means the sump coming back off again, which is more time, which is, you know, money at the end of the day. So we aren't really going to be making off this 500, but we do know we're going to be putting a good car out the door. And I guess at the end of the day, that's probably the most important thing, because we, you know, in turn get recommendations and that will get us sales that will make us money. There isn't an option not to do these things. They need to be done for the car to be right. So let's get them done and move on to the next one, which means cracking on with this little i10 at the moment. I guess the big thing with the 500 as well though is that was the only advisory, other than the sump leaking. The only other thing advisory wise was those tyres, which again I'd have to disagree slightly on that. I don't think they merited noting. But yeah, nothing for corrosion, nothing for warm bushings, nothing for playing steering, blah 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 blah. Literally all it was an oil leak on the sump that we changed. and an advisory for tyres. You know, nothing regarding exhaust system, like I say, rubbers, blah blah blah. Everything else fine, which on that age of 500 is really good. You do not normally get a 500 at this age without an advisory for rot underneath. You often don't get a 500 at this age that hasn't had its sills crushed, because people think that this arrow is the jacking point, when in fact the jacking point's further back. So it's very uncommon to have one the sills that aren't crushed. I'm actually saying that there might be a slight, no, not really, no, it's all right. So yeah, so overall condition wise, it's a 2011. It's actually in good nick, and like I say, those guys did the interior on it. That's super clean now. So once we get the sump sorted and validated, it'll be up for sale. We'll do the photo shoot, we'll get it up for sale, and I expect it'll find a new home fairly quickly. 500s normally do. And yeah, so really short and soft, let's get cracking.